Hello, everybody. As promised, I just want to take a couple minutes to talk about Module 4. So let's jump right in. So at the moment, we're really still just wrapping up Module 3. And I talked about that in yesterday's video. Now this week, you're also doing Inviting Creativity, which is a sort of initial thought on Module 4. Then you're going to dive in a bit more with the discussion on guiding creativity and getting feedback from your peers on what you might do for the project, which I'll talk about in just a moment. And then the assignment itself, you have 2 weeks from today to do that, so February 23rd, and it is 20% of your grade. So if I come down here, I just want to highlight that we are looking at this today or this week with our creativity discussion. We're going to have another more formalized discussion next week about guiding creativity. And then you'll have another week on top of that to actually do the assignment. So let's have a quick look at the assignment then. So in Module 4, we do just the first bit talks a bit about the idea of helping others to cultivate creativity, hence the title, Inviting Creativity or Cultivating Creativity in Others. So there's a bit about the discussion. I won't talk about that. You can read that yourself. Just want to highlight a couple things here. So this assignment, you're going to conceptualize an experience that you will curate for your students. So basically, you're creating, a lesson plan in which your students or colleagues, depending on your role, will experience some type of creative activity. So again, it could be a lesson plan or some other type of school-based initiative. There's a range of examples here. So these are all based in different, could be math or some different kind of discipline. So you need to just tell us what they will be doing or creating. So there's a product. What exactly will they create? And here's one thing I've talked about with many of you. What are the balances, or what are the freedoms and constraints within which your students will work? So what constraints or parameters are you designing into this project? And as I've said several times, when we're working creatively, we often think about that as some kind of artistic endeavor, but quite often our creative endeavors are solving problems, learning how to express ourselves more thoroughly, and so forth. One of your creative experiences was to develop a sense of financial literacy. So these are very creative but highly practical activities. So I really want you to focus on what are constraints within which your students will have to work. We always, even if we're painting, we still need to work within the constraints of the medium or the media, the paint, the surface on which we're painting, and so forth. They also talk about other considerations. Time is of the essence. So I really want you to think about how long students will have to do this. We often work under great time constraints in our daily lives. And motivation. So with your proposals, I just finished reading through all of the proposals this morning. And some of you give really clear motivation for your creative endeavors. Others haven't perhaps clearly specified just exactly what's motivating you. And I think this is really key. Of course, the motivation for something determines how much effort we're going to put into it, detail, how many resources we're going to be able to put. And I'm also very interested in extrinsic versus intrinsic motivations. I know we often talk about the idea of wanting our students to be intrinsically motivated. They want to do something. We want them to want to do things because it's right or good. But I always remind people as well, I love teaching, but I'm not doing it for free. So external motivations and rewards, such as my salary, are very important things to consider. So in your case, maybe the part of the motivation is the grade you might assign, how it will be graded, and so forth. So these are very important things to consider. It'll be written, so you can do a lesson plan format. Could be in PowerPoint. I always to me, a great lesson plan is one that I can actually use with my students. So I'm not too worried about the format of a lesson plan, but I always like to see something that you could show to your students. So a good lesson plan to me is one that a teacher could follow, but also use the same material for their students. Yes, so I think that will do. And I love this assignment because it's very practical, it's very much focused on you and your students. The other assignment that I talked about yesterday is focused on you and your colleagues. Now this one gets to the heart of your teaching you and your students. Okay, that's it. Thank you.